Welcome back to Deep Space Solo, where we are playing Fabled Lands Over the Blood Dark Sea by Dave Morris and Jamie Thompson. We are playing this fantastic and famous solo gamebook adventure. Before I start, I want to bring up some of the new stuff that I got. You all are familiar with the Roland S1 synth. It is now being driven by the Torso T1 generative sequencer, which creates a lot of random sequencing that goes into the Roland synth, Euclidean generative stuff. It's very cool. And we have the Teenage Engineering Medieval, which is a groove box that's full of medieval sounds and samples, hurdy-gurdies. It's really fun, and I really love the drums and drum reverb in this. It sounds very grim, dark fantasy, and that's super fun. So, without further ado, I've already created a character. He's a Wayfarer. He's rank 3, which is the rank for starting characters in Over the Blood Dark Sea. Let's give him a whirl. You are alone in an open boat, waiting for death. How your life has changed since the day when you set out from your homeland across the unbounded ocean. You had signed on aboard a ship with the hope of visiting a dozen ports, seeing 1,000 wonders. But calamity overtook your voyage in the first week, when pirates swooped down aboard the vessel. You and a handful of shipmates managed to get the cutter down into the water and were making off, but some of the pirates leapt down from the rail right in your midst. The fighting was hard. You remember little of it now, but when it was over, the boat was awash with blood. And you were the only one left alive. Of your own ship and the pirates there was no sign. The current had carried you out of sight of any living thing. Best not to think how you've survived since then. At the mercy of the wind and the currents, you have been swept steadily westwards into regions completely unknown to you. Drinking water has been your biggest problem. You've had to rely on rain, and there has been none for days. Your body is weak, your spirits low. Then, just as death seems ready to draw its boat alongside, you see something that kindles new hope. White clouds, birds turning high above, the gray hump of land on the horizon. Steering towards the shore, you feel the cutter lurch as it enters rough water. The wind whips up plumes of spindrift, and breakers pound at the cliffs. The tiller is yanked out of your hands. The little boat's spun around out of control and goes plunging toward the coast. You leap clear at the last second. There is the snap of timber, the roaring crescendo of the waves, and then silence as you go under. Striking out wildly, you try to swim clear, then suddenly a wave catches you and flings you contemptuously onto the beach. You are battered and bedraggled, but alive. Now, your adventures can begin. Roll 2 dice. Five. Turn to 505. You are on a stretch of shore. Surf pounds on the white sand. At the back of the beach is a wall of craggy gray rocks covered in hanging ferns. It is a desert island. Turn to 177. The island appears to have sufficient food and fresh water to sustain you. but it will not be like living in the lap of luxury. I can try to survive off the land, I can set work building a raft, or I can pray for deliverance. Let's set to work building a raft. No, we're gonna try to survive off the land for a little bit. Let's explore this area, see what we're dealing with. There's ample fruit, and even a little game in the form of flightless weasel birds. The trick lies in knowing what is safe to eat and what is toxic. Make a scouting roll at the difficulty of 12. That is an 11, so we have failed the scouting roll. Go to page 162. You begin to suffer from stomach cramps followed by bouts of nausea. Perhaps it was those berries you had picked? If you have a blessing of immunity to disease or poison, you wake the next morning feeling fine. Otherwise, you lose 1 to 6 stamina points. 1. So my stamina goes down from 16 to 15. All in all, not too bad for some rotten poison berries. You're still alive, turn to page 144. A new dawn brings another chance of rescue. Roll 2 dice. Three. An empty horizon. Turn to 177. Okay, let's try living off the land again. This is the next day. Turn to page 88. Let's make another scouting roll. Difficulty of 12. Okay, we have succeeded. Turn to 144. One thing that's awesome about Fabled Lands is scouting rolls and scouting classes really matter. If you cannot, basically any of the categories, if you have a bad roll, especially if the roll is in your bad stat and you have no way of actually getting a good roll, you will die. So what's nice about scouting is that kind of lets you explore more without worrying about being trapped in some infinite dungeon or lost woods or any manner of ways I've already died playing this book. A new dawn brings another chance of rescue. Roll 2 dice. Oh wait, did I get the successful scouting roll? Let me just make sure I did that right. So 144. Okay, so you just go to the next day if you scout successfully without taking any damage. That makes sense. Roll 2 dice. 12. Pirates. Maybe we actually didn't want to be rescued. Pirate seems like a really bad option here. Pirates find you when they come ashore to bury some treasure. Their captain fondles your hair and smirks. Young and healthy enough, he says. You're bound for the slave pens, my friend. Unless you got some money on you. 150 shards. I cannot pay that. Let's turn to 472. You were chained by the pirates and taken inland on one of the unnumbered isles. The land consists of windswept bluffs under a sky of perpetual racing clouds. A thin, cold drizzle comes down in gusts. Get the code word chance if you can succeed in a scouting check at difficulty 12. 7, that is 12. Ties are actually failures, so we do not succeed at the scouting check. Go to 114. Yeah, ties being failures always feels very rotten. You are taken before the Reaver King in his grim fortress, which stands at the back of the secluded cove where the pirates have their base. Many a captain in the world's navies would pay dearly to know the location of this place, the secret harbor from which the dread reavers swoop out to prey on passing ships. If you have the code word cutlass, turn to 473, which I don't. If not, turn to 233. You are face to face with Amcha One-Eye, the bane of honest merchants throughout the northern lands. If you imagine that he would wear an eye patch, you were mistaken. His sightless eyes kept openly displayed an unblinking white orb that strikes terror into the hearts of all who must confront him. If you possess a pirate captain's head, turn to 493. If not, turn to 400. I got nothing. What do you got for me? Ancha. 400. The Reaver King regards you with a baleful half-smile. How proudly you stand there before me. Are you not aware that I hold your fate in my hands? He steps forward as though to embrace you, then suddenly brings his fist up in a vicious punch to the gut. You double up, gasping for breath, lose 1 stamina point. If still alive, you hear him say, "The only question is whether to kill you at once or have a little fun. If you have a silver medallion, turn to 363. If not, turn to 638. These all sound like really cool objects that I could have, but I have nothing. You are chained to the wall of the Reaver King's throne room and flogged whenever he's in a bad temper, which is often. Days turn to weeks, and gradually your health declines. Lose 3 to 18 stamina points. 1 more die. I will lose 7 stamina points, taking me down to 7. If you survive, there eventually comes a time when you are too weak and battered to give the Reavers any sport. They sell you to slavers from Yarimura, who strip you of any possessions and money you may have managed to hold on to. Okay. Get these out of here, and I had 40 shards, but those are also gone. Lose the code words crocus or color if you have them, then turn to 357 in the Plains of Howling Darkness. So the Fabled Lands is an open sandbox gamebook, and what is super neat about it is that the gamebook will take you between different segments of the world by going to new gamebooks. So now I'm going to go to page 357 in the Plains of Howling Darkness to continue my adventure. 357. sold out to the Navy and put to work as a galley slave, condemned to row under the lash. Turn to 222. If you have the title Hatamoto, turn to 276 immediately. If not, read on. You are set to work rowing on a Yarimuran warship. The next few months are hard indeed, though you do get a chance to heal a little, restore up to 6 points of stamina. 13. The lifespan of a Yarimuran galley slave is not long. Constant whippings, poor food, and an existence chained to the rower's bench weaken you considerably. Lose 1 rank. Roll 1 die and subtract the score from your unwounded stamina total permanently. Brutal. Max stamina goes to 12. After many battles at sea, your ship is captured by pirates from the unnumbered isles in the Violet Ocean. Turn to 27. Literally just getting bounced around by pirates, which I guess is what happens when you go out to sea. The pirates kill all the crew but spare the galley slaves for now. You are hauled before the captain, a hugely fat barrel of a man with only 1 ear, for judgment. Those not good enough are chucked overboard. Some are taken on as shipmates on the pirate ship to replace their losses. If you have the code word clutch, turn to 287. Otherwise, make a charisma roll at difficulty 12. Get me on the ship? No. I am odious. Failed charisma roll, turn to 253. The captain dismisses you as worthless garbage. The pirates casually toss you over the side without a thought. They sail away, leaving you behind. By chance, you manage to find a piece of driftwood to hold on to. Roll a die and add 1 to the score. So that is a 5. If the result is higher than your rank, turn to 459. After several days, you pass out from lack of food, water, and sleep. You slip beneath the waves and drown. Turn to 7. You are dead. Well, that is all for this character, but maybe we'll try again some other time. Thanks for watching.